Welcome back to Everything Whiskey. I'm Callum.
And I'm Sam.
And today we're having a look at Cougar Bourbon.
Alrighty, so today, Cougar Bourbon. This is another Uber budget we're going for. Hopefully the mics sound a bit better this time, because right now I can't hear you flicking off the cap and stuff. So hopefully that means that it's crisper for them just hearing audio, because Zoom audio is dodgy, so we did a little workaround. Hopefully it's a bit better. Cougar. You probably haven't heard of this unless you live New Zealand or Australia, because this is a brand of bourbon that is export only, and it is only sold to Australia and New Zealand. It's cheap as chips. What was the price?
I got it on special for $35. I think it's normally 40-ish.
Pretty cheap. Apparently this one was not too bad for the money up until about 4 years ago. I believe it said it had an age statement of 5 years on the bottle. But around 4 or 5 years ago, that was changed to something saying, extra smooth or whatever. And it's sitting around the 2-year mark, is what people are thinking. They don't release it publicly, but that's what people have decided upon, is around that 2-year mark. And apparently the quality because of that has decreased exponentially. I wish we had the old one to taste it, and I wish I had, at the bare minimum, tasted the old one, but I was not buying Cougar 5 years ago.
Did you read anywhere how much in terms of percent, the old one was? Because this one's 37% as per.
Yeah, 37, obviously. That's why it's only New Zealand and Australia, because no one else in the world will accept it.
Yeah, but was the old one that was 5 year? Do you know if that was 40 or 30? No.
No idea. No one mentioned it. And
this smells 37%, by the way.
Yeah, it does.
It's very thin.
Also, if you're wondering, I thought I'd mention it because we hadn't actually mentioned it. We don't buy 2 bottles when we do a review. We've got these little 60ml taster bottles, and because we live pretty close to each other, we just send it to each other because we alternate buying it. And then he gives me this one, and then I'll send him it back full of the one that I buy next.
Obviously,
that's how we do our reviews
on Zoom. At least.
No, I'm just saying we're not buying
2 of the same bottle
every single time. It'd be ridiculous.
It reminds me of American Eagle, actually.
Hay, getting wet hay and then really dry corn dust.
Yes, you remember American Eagle, the 4-year-old bourbon that was cheap?
I remember.
I think it's just an Australian thing as well, but
I remember it, but it was very.
It's kind of like wet hay.
Yeah.
Wet hay.
It's a little bit vanilla. It's not harsh. I'll give it that. I'm not getting much ethanol.
It's like rye bread as well.
Yeah, but super. I don't know. It's not got a lot put into it.
No.
It's just a really light rye bread or something.
And it's like the banana or the wood barrel impact.
Yeah, that weird banana note we get a lot of the time with cheaper stuff, or even just low proof.
Yeah. This is Kentucky Straight Bourbon at 37%. Well,
basically, it's called Cougar now. If you had heard of it, it used to be called, Sam Cougars, and it's owned by Foster's Group, and it's produced by MGP, which is really not a surprise to anyone. If you're sourcing whiskey in Kentucky, it is probably going to be MGP.
Tastes like nothing.
Green eucalyptus, corn sweet dust,
eucalyptus?
And nothing. How can
it just tastes like tree sap?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that really green, harsh.
Yeah. It's called Cougar Smooth Bourbon. I wouldn't even call it's smooth, but it's got some weird.
It's 37%.
But it's got these weird, not so nice flavors that you would associate with being a smooth. It's more
that greenness.
Just very young.
Bourbon. Too young bourbon has this distinct green note, that sappy note. It's really, really hard to get around.
It's almost sour.
And from what's the saying? Yeah, from other whiskey people we've talked to and whiskey YouTubers we've listened to, they've all come through with the same response when it comes to really young bourbon. Is it's just got this green note, and a lot of the time it comes from craft distillers doing a lot of either new stuff or not sitting on it long enough because they need to sell some stuff, or it happens a lot with craft, but it happens a lot with MGP, I guess. If they're selling really young stuff, this has got, it's not like insanely strong, but it's there enough to be like something a bit off.
Are you getting that like vegetal sugar? It's almost like sugar cane without being that excessively sweet from as sugar cane is. It's almost,
it's got a sweetness. I don't know if it's, I'm getting like an earthy, dusty. Never get cats. It's like having gremlins in your house, just knocking stuff off your shelves at all hours of the night. I'm getting like an earthy, dusty, musty sweetness. But it's kind of like, it's sweet, but it's also more on the dry end and just kind of thin and boring. It's not like sweet, thick, oily sweetness that kind of stays like a syrup. It's kind of goes pretty fast.
I mean, in Australia, this is pre-mixed a lot of the time in like those cans.
Oh yeah. But the majority,
that.
So Cougar is one of those ones that you see.
It's predominantly
pre-mixed. It's in the fridge and it's in cans pre-mixed. You have those Jack and Coke cans. It's the same. The Cougar and Cola ones. Now they sell a ton of like just the bottles of Cougar, but I'm going to take a wild guess and assume that it's probably destined for the same, well, it's probably going to the same destination as being mixed with Coke.
Well,
I mean, doing their own mix because they want stronger.
I worked in a
stronger batch.
I worked in a bottle shop for 3.5 years and I sold 0 bottles of Cougar.
Really? None?
I only sold the pre-mixed cans. So if that's anything to go by, but
it is. Yeah, you can kind of get the idea of the point of this whiskey by the fact that they do sell pre-made cans. It's kind of for mixing. They understand that it's never, from what I've seen, really advertised as anything to be sipped on and explored neat. If I had any Coke, maybe I'd try it on ice with some Coke, see how it is. Because a lot of the time, I think it would be fine. I think it would be perfectly fine.
It'd be nice.
A lot of the time, these ones are just like,
it's got that dusty sugar on the end that would pair nicely.
A lot of the time, it's just this kind of generic background bourbon note and that shows up over the Coke, but majority of it is just like the Coke flavor you're getting. You're not really picking out new, interesting flavors that are outliers, that are unique whiskey to whiskey. Basically, at least Cougar is kind of like open with what they're doing. They're not pretending to be something they're not. They're not calling themselves Boulder and Bond. They're not lying to you about what they are. They're a pre-mix whiskey for Australia, New Zealand that is sold mostly for mixing, and that's fine. And we're giving it a relatively positive review.
Well, I mean, it hits all those needs as well.
It's fine. Yeah, it's not lying. It's doing exactly what it's out to do. So it's fine. We can't take points off for that. Alrighty, thank you very much for watching this episode of Everything Whiskey. If you liked it, leave us a like. If you want to see future episodes from us, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. If you do, we'll see you next one.
Cheers.